Good Saturday morning, Patrick the Okie Shaver. If you saw the thumbnail, you know that I'm doing a review for Sacajawea. It's collaboration between Frank Misa at Strike Gold Shave and Tobin Fetters at Tobin's Throwbacks. Most people know who I'm talking about, both cases. Um, Here's what the set looks like. When Tobin asked me to review it, of course I wanted to, but my nose isn't the best at any time, and it's hard for me to pick up scents. And he said just give an honest review, so that's what I'm going to do. Here's the soap, and I think that's a beautiful label. Labels don't usually say anything to me, but this one very nice. Here's the splash, and this is they're doing a 3-part soap splash trilogy, I guess you might say. Core Discovery. It's that's what the expedition was called, the Lewis and Clark Expedition, Core Discovery. It was Thomas Jefferson sent him to. He just made the purchase of the Louisiana Purchase. Just bought the Louisiana Purchase. I don't know how to say that. Anyways, it was from 1804 to 1806, and he wanted him to map it. I got a note here. Hold on. The exploration of the Louisiana Purchase from 1804 to 1806. They're supposed to map, which that would be pretty extensive. Establish trade, and then they wanted to find a waterway to the Pacific Ocean. And this is the second edition. The first one was just called Lewis and Clark. But so they wintered in outside of St. Louis, Missouri. I've been to the place that they wintered at, and they had a little fort there, and it is little. They rebuilt it, and it's very small. But they wintered there. They took off from St. Louis and went to. They made it to the Mandan villages, Hidatsu and Mandan villages in North Dakota, and that's where they met up with Toussaint Charbonneau, who was a trapper, and he guided them. His wife was Sacajawea, and she was living she's Shoshone, but from Idaho, but she was living among the Mandan and Hidatsu in North Dakota. And she went along, and once they made it to the Shoshone areas, which was where she was from, she was able to help them with procuring horses, and knew the way and could ask people, and she was just a big part of the exploration. She had a son, Jean-Baptiste Charbonneau, in 1805. I can't remember the date exactly, but that's just pretty tough, I think. A woman who could go through all that and bear a baby. But back to the scent, I guess I should say. The scent notes in this is evergreen, bergamot, lavender, mint, fir balsam, cedarwood, oak moss, sandalwood, vetiver, and ozone. And I pick up the first thing I pick up every time, and I've used this will be the 4th time I think I've used this set since I've gotten it. I get a sweet scent, and then I get a green scent, and somewhere in there's a woody scent. This may not be fair, or what I should say, but to me it's a unisex scent. It's not overly masculine, it's not overly feminine. And I don't pick out any scent notes per se and say that's the sandalwood, that's the fir, it's not that way for me on this one. But I did jot down a few things before we get started on the shave. It's well blended, and it has some complexity to it, which the scent notes aren't complex, but them together working in unison By that I mean during the dry down and as it ages on your skin, you it changes, so to say. It evolves and shows different facets, I guess you might say, of the accord. And it is harmonious. It's unified, but it's got a distinctive scent impression, um, and it's very balanced. The notes mingle together well. They're blended well, of course, but no one element characteristic or a single note overpowers the other one. And I just think there's, like I said, my nose isn't the best, but this is how I would describe it. Um, yeah, it's very nice, and I can pick up. I can give you sweet. I can give you green. I can give you woods, but I can't pick out any single note. And maybe that's the point. I don't know. And I feel amiss not being able to pick those things out, but that's just my nose and the way I am. So anyway, so we went over the soap and splash. I showed you what they look like. I've got some suds here in the Captain's Choice bowl. And I've got a fake antler handled brush I'll be using. It's got a 24 millimeter badger knot in it. And being strike gold, you know that the soap is good. It's slick, it's cushioning, it's whatever you want, it's got it in there. Splash the same way. Not a lot of burn, but you feel the bit of skin food in there. And I don't know if that's the right word to use, but yeah. And the shaver we're going to be using is the Goodfellas Smile Bayonetta. And in it we have a first use Wizamet Super Iridium. All right, let's get on with the shave. What do you say? What do you think? What do you think? All right, here we go. Warm up my washcloth again. I just thought this was Tobin told me about this idea that he had about this, and it was probably in the works even then, but things like this I like, especially with American stuff, you know, the history that we all share. And as you all know, I'm usually a face latherer, but I wanted to bowl lather this. And to your nose, it may be completely different. And I guess that may be the point. And it's funny, I say funny, weird, however you want to say it. But if somebody walks by and they have on Pinot Clubman Special Reserve, I can smell it. I know what it is. But I can't pick out any of those notes either. And that was just an example I thought of. Probably not a good example, but anyway. I hope y'all are all doing good and feeling good and all that stuff. You've had a good week, or if you're still working, your week is going well. I knew this was coming out. I talk to Tobin a couple times a week usually, and he asked me to review this. Of course I said yes, because I wanted to smell it if nothing else. But it's kind of a big deal to me. As you all know, watching, if you watch very much, my channel's not very big. I don't have a lot of followers, subscribers, what do you want to say? But I don't know what, but I don't know why he would pick me to review this because I'm not a good reviewer. I don't usually do reviews. They're way too subjective. And I frequently get things wrong, but I mean, how can you be wrong if you're giving your own opinion? I got this, I don't know if it's Tuesday, Wednesday evening, and I've been using it since. And like I said, the aftershave changes a little bit as you wear it, as it ages on your skin. And I think that's because they're pretty spot on next to each other as far as the soap and splash. But to me, and everybody's skin's different, but on my skin, it seems like and it's kind of a lighter. It's not light. I would say mid strength is where I would put it, but it gets a bit deeper and richer on your skin. As you wear it, as it ages. And I think I've got a little too much water in my soap here. I was watching, Glenn Sherman dropped a video on this, on his review of Sacajawea. And he said that he remembers learning about Lewis and Clark and their expedition, but he didn't remember Sacajawea. He said maybe he was just pulling pigtails or looking out the window, daydreaming when they went over it. But Glenn's channel is, what is this channel called? I just had it and now I've lost it. The Luxury Shaving Hobbyist, I think is what it's called. Something like that. I get a ding every time he puts a video out, so. I want to say that Tobin has talked about the third edition of this, which will be later on in the summer, fall sometime. And I can't remember exactly if he told me what it was going to be called or anything. I don't remember. I wouldn't say if I did, but I know that's his. They're shooting for that time to release the third one. And I think if you go to Strike Gold Shave, is of course where this is, where you order it from, and if you enter Tobin or Tobin's Throwbacks or something like that, you get free shipping. I think that's the way kind of a sponsored thing. That's not what it's called. I don't remember, but something like that. And it's usually, I think, $50 threshold. Hopefully I'm not wrong about that. Affiliate link, I think that's what it's called. My head works it just kind of slow most times. Alright, here we go. This third pass done. Get some splash on in a minute. Found out that the longer I can sit with a scent or something new, the better it is for me. I've done a few reviews for, who have I done them for? Black Tie Razor Company. Dominic and the guys up there in Missouri. But I try not to do too many because my nose is not the best. I like this razor, it's a bit mild. But for $45 or whatever I get for it, I really can't complain. I started to trade it off a couple times, but can't bring myself to do it. Still gives me a really decent shave. Better than decent, I would say. Monkey shaver washcloths my wife got me. Alright, let's dry off and get some aftershave on. I'm sure y'all got stuff to do too. Natural splash with powerful ingredients to help prepare and protect your skin from after shaving. If I can talk today. Yeah, it feels really nice on the skin. And there, as far as soap and aftershave, very, very similar. Maybe not quite exact, but very similar. And like I said, to me the aftershave changes on your skin. over time as it dries and ages, dries down and ages. Very nice. All right, I think that's going to conclude our review of Strike Gold Shave and Tobin's Throwbacks of Sacajawea. Let me recap and I'll get off here. So today we used the Goodfellas Smile Bayonetta with a new Wizamet Super Iridium in the fake deer antler handle batcher brush, the Captain's Choice bowl, and then Sacajawea. Very nice scent. I was more than honored to do this for Tobin. Hopefully this review's helped you one way or the other to figure out whether it be something for you or not. And just remember, this is everything. This is all my opinion, no one else's. So if you get it and you don't like it, don't be mad at Tobin or Frank. Be mad at me. But anyways, I'm gonna get off here and go find something to do. I really appreciate y'all stopping and sharing your time with me. Yep, we'll see y'all next week. Have a good and safe week, and be careful and safe. Thanks a bunch. We'll see y'all.